Mike walked into the bar late that night, his face swollen, his left eye bloodshot and red. One look at him and it was obvious, he had been in a fight. No, worse. He had been beaten. "My guy, what happened to you?" his friend Daniel asked, staring. Mike dropped heavily onto a stool and sighed. "That woman challenges me," he said, breathing hard. "She thinks I'm her friend. No respect at all." Daniel leaned closer, eager. "Go on." "She found out about Nellie and went crazy," Mike snapped. "She fought me. Me, the man of the house. All men cheat, but she likes acting superior." Daniel burst out laughing. "So you're saying she beat you? She actually fought you?" Mike nodded, jaw tight. "These city ladies are disrespectful." Daniel studied him for a moment, thinking. Then he leaned in and whispered something. Mike looked up, his eyes suddenly lighting up. "Easy, my guy," Daniel said with a grin. "Those ones won't stress you." Mike nodded slowly. "The problem is exposure," Daniel continued. "Women who lack it make good wives." And that was how Mike ended his marriage to Natasha, his wife of 3 years, and headed back to the village to find a wife. A wife who lacked exposure. Her name was Vivien, beautiful, calm, and composed. The entire village adored her, praising her humility and gentle nature. She had been raised by her father, a noble carpenter, in the quiet village of Nyanga, where respect was valued more than ambition and silence was mistaken for obedience. When Mike told his mother he had come home to take a wife, Mama Maria ululated and danced with joy. She had never accepted Natasha. For years she had prayed that her son would marry a woman from the village, a respectful lady, someone who knew her place. Someone like Vivien. She wasted no time introducing the girl to Mike. From the moment they met, the two seemed to get along effortlessly. Smiles came easily, words were few, and within no time the drums were beating, songs filled the air, and the pair stood side by side, smiling as husband and wife. Days after the wedding, they packed their bags and returned to the city. The first few days were perfect. Vivien was exactly what Mike thought he needed. She never asked questions. She never complained when he staggered in the following morning after a night out with the boys. She lowered her head when she spoke to him, called him by his clan name, and, most importantly, never asked who Nellie was. Not even when Nellie called every hour of the day, even at midnight, and he would rush outside to answer. Mike felt powerful. He was the man of the house, and for the first time in a long while, he felt properly acknowledged. Life, to him, was bliss. Most evenings after work, he went straight to Nellie's place. He ate dinner there, laughed there, lived there. Then returned home around midnight. Still, Vivien said nothing. Not a word. Not a look. One afternoon, Mike met up with Daniel for drinks, eager to report back. "My guy," Mike said, grinning widely as he lifted his bottle. "You were right. Village girls are it. They're the real deal. Thank you for plugging me. I'm in heaven right now." Daniel laughed as they talked, clinking bottles, congratulating themselves. Back at the house, Vivien sat outside, letting the sun kiss her skin. She scrolled through her phone, glancing at it again and again, as though waiting. Then it beeped. A message. "I'm here." Vivien rose immediately, smoothing down her short dress. She walked toward the gate with a slow, confident sway. When she reached it, she wrapped her arms around a man. Not Mike. Just a man. She laughed softly, took his hand, and led him into the house, closing the door behind them. "My sweet Fanta girl," the man said softly, tapping Vivien's backside playfully. "So this is it?" he asked. Vivien nodded. They embraced, kissing briefly before she pulled away. "He's not working today," she warned. "He could be home anytime." The man nodded, unfazed. Just remember, act dumb. Act clueless. He won't know what hit him. He paused, lowering his voice. This is our ticket out of poverty. Don't fumble it. With that, he stepped out. Vivien collapsed onto the couch, laughter bubbling from her lips. Rudy. She had met him back in the village, just after high school. He was everything she had ever wanted, fun, daring, unpredictable. The kind of man who kept you wanting more. She had been innocent when they met, untouched by the world he knew, until he slowly pulled her into it. Once, he took her to the city, just to see his place, just to explore. To Vivien, it felt like stepping into another life. Bigger. Brighter. Dangerous. Before she fully understood what was happening, they had married in secret at the magistrate's court. Names written. Papers signed. Legally bound. Husband and wife. Rudy was not a good man. Everyone knew that. But he loved her. And she loved him too. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. By then, Vivien was pregnant, 5 months along, still seeing the love of her life, all without her husband's knowledge. She let Mike believe everything was under control, that his world remained exactly as he imagined it. Until one day. The weather was cold, heavy with something unspoken. Mike was home, unexpectedly. Vivien sat across from him in the living room, studying his face, then spoke as if the thought had just occurred to her. "Why aren't you with Nellie today?" she asked gently. "Is everything okay between you two?" Mike froze. He wasn't sure what shocked him more, her audacity in mentioning Nellie, or the concern in her voice. Deep down, he knew no woman truly supported such arrangements. "Why are you asking me that?" he roared. "What do you know about Nellie?" Vivien laughed lightly. "Relax, big dog. It's not that deep. I'm just making conversation." She rolled her eyes. Mike stared at her, stunned. This didn't sound like the quiet village wife he had married. She sounded unsettlingly familiar, like Natasha, with her irritating questions and fearless tone. Still, he brushed it aside. Pregnancy hormones, he told himself. Or maybe, just maybe, she cared. Cared enough about his happiness to ask. He sighed. "She's fine," he said at last. "Just pressuring me to marry her." Vivien chuckled. "Then marry her." Mike's eyes widened. Are you serious?" "Of course," she replied casually. "You're the man. And men are polygamous by nature. Isn't that what they always say?" Mike jumped to his feet, overjoyed. This is exactly what I've always wanted. A real, true woman who understands and respects her husband. You're God sent." Vivien smirked softly. As if to say, no. God didn't send me. Little did Mike know, Vivien's plan was already complete. Mike didn't waste time marrying Nellie. Within days, she had moved into the house as though she had always belonged there. Vivien welcomed her with a calm smile, though it was obvious Nellie despised her. From the moment she arrived, Nellie was already plotting, counting the days until Vivien would be gone. Vivien noticed. She didn't flinch. Instead, she reassured Nellie that Mike was all hers. A few days later, after Mike left for work, Vivien slipped into a flowing maternity dress and stepped out to meet Rudy. Together, they toured a luxurious mansion with a sales agent, walking through marble halls and wide glass rooms that screamed opulence. Vivien ran her hand along the staircase, her eyes calm, assured. When the tour ended, she turned to the agent with a confident smile. "We'll be back in 3 days," she said. "Hopefully it will still be available." Rudy squeezed her hand as they walked out. He escorted her to the taxi, kissed her gently, and waved as it drove off. Neither of them noticed Nellie, standing across the street, phone raised, recording everything. that night, the house was heavy with silence as the three of them sat down for dinner. Plates clinked. No one spoke. Then Nellie reached for her phone. "Mike," she said sweetly, "you need to see this." She played the video. Mike shot up from his chair. "Vivien. What is this?" he roared, fists clenched, ready to strike. Vivien stood calmly, unmoved. "If you so much as lay a hand on me," she said evenly, "you will regret it. Don't try me. You village filth." Mike screamed. "You dare cheat on me while carrying my child?" He pointed toward the door. "I'm sending you back to the village, to suffer. Back to the gutters where I picked you from." Vivien didn't move. Instead, a sharp knock cut through the chaos. 2 police officers stepped inside. "Mr. Mike," one of them said, "you are being sued for being involved with a married woman." Mike scoffed. "What married woman?" he sneered. The officers handed him an envelope. He tore it open. And there it was. Court marriage papers. And a $2 million lawsuit. Mike's hands trembled as he stared at the documents. "What?" "Vivien," fear tightened around his chest. You're married?" His voice cracked. "How?" "I married you. In the village." Vivien lowered her head, her face folding into practiced guilt. "I'm sorry," she said softly, her voice shaking just enough. "I can talk to him. Please, let me talk to him." But it was already too late. Everything began to fall apart for Mike. His account was nearly empty. The house wasn't fully paid for. To fight the lawsuit would cost more than he had, and to lose it would ruin him completely. Still, he couldn't understand how this had happened. Then the truth hit him. He had married Vivien traditionally. The court did not recognize that. So yes, he was guilty. Ignorant, but guilty. The village girl he had underestimated had cut him deep. Ruined him. That same night, Vivien went to Rudy's house. They had done it. Millions secured. It was time to celebrate. Rudy welcomed her warmly, laughter filling the room, victory sweet on their tongues. From that night on, they stayed together, waiting patiently for Mike to finish settling the payments. Mike struggled. He sold the house. He sold his cars. He liquidated shares from the company he worked for. Piece by piece, his life disappeared. And when there was nothing left to take, Nellie left him too. He was broke. Alone. Forgotten. Meanwhile, the moment the money reflected in Rudy's account, joy flooded him. Quietly, carefully, he packed his bag. Before dawn, he placed a small note on the bedside table and slipped out into the early morning breeze. Vivien woke up smiling. Rudy wasn't beside her. She chuckled, assuming he had woken early to prepare her breakfast, just like he always did. Then she noticed the note. She picked it up and read. "Sweet Fanta girl. I won't pretend anymore. I used you to get what I needed, and I don't regret it. It's an unfair world. You trusted me, and I trusted you, but forever with you is a no. What you did scares me. You're unnatural. But what if you do the same to me? I can't live with that. Sorry. Adios." Vivien sank onto the bed. She had trusted Rudy. She had loved him. But the moment the money reflected in his account, he ran. To him, it had all been a game. A game with only one end goal, and only one winner. The betrayal cut deeper than she had ever imagined. With nothing left, Vivien returned to the village carrying only shame and a failed marriage, her own doing. The villagers whispered as she passed. Who would have thought she was like that? Looks can be deceiving. Such a bad girl. Their words followed her like shadows. Meanwhile, Mike sat outside his mother's hut, thinner now, worn down by regret. Life had humbled him. His thoughts often drifted to Natasha. She had been loud, yes. She questioned him, argued with him, but now he understood. That had been love. She cared enough to fight for him. Vivien never asked because she never needed to. She had already been playing her own game. Now it all made sense. Months passed. Then one afternoon, a frail figure walked into his yard, a baby wrapped against her chest. It was Vivien. She looked worse than he did, eyes sunken, body tired. "What happened to you?" Mike asked quietly. "Why are you here?" Tears streamed down her face. "It's your child," she said. "You can do a DNA test." "I'm sorry, Mike. He played me too. He left as soon as the money came in." Mike's chest tightened. Despite the hurt, despite the bitterness, he reached out and took the baby. He kissed the child gently and whispered, "Thank you, God." "I'll call him Utua," he said softly. "My love. He's all I have now." He smiled faintly. "Mutua blessing," he said aloud. Then Mike looked at Vivien, really looked at her. The sun dipped low, casting a soft, fading glow around them as they stood facing each other. Whether it was forgiveness, reconciliation, or simply shared loss, only time would tell.